Oftentimes, what comes to mind when people think of growing their business, they think of just doing more of what they've been doing in order to grow their business. Or if they think of doubling their business, they think of doubling the effort it takes to grow their business or double their business. So it takes double the amount of work, double the amount of customers, double the amount of staff, double the amount of time, and so on and so forth in order to double your business. However, I submit to you that it only takes 7 different levers that need to be tweaked or adjusted just ever so slightly to actually get a compounding effect in your growth and help you double your business with just a few moves. In this video, I'm going to go over these 7 different levers that if you know how to tweak them just a little bit, you can double your construction business. Hey, if we haven't met yet, I'm Liz Chisholm. I'm a systems gal that helps 7-figure contractors grow their business without chaos. Now, in this video, I'm going to go over these 7 levers, but in order to do that, we need to pop over to my spreadsheet. So stay with me and let's dive right in. So here is the sales optimization spreadsheet that I use with all my private clients. And in here, we actually plug in their numbers and see, okay, what do we need to do to leverage those numbers and double their business with the least amount of effort possible? So I'm going to walk you through what I've walked through with my private clients and show you exactly how to do that. Now, the first thing you need to do whenever you want to grow your business is you have to see where you currently are. It's kind of like if you type into GPS that you want to go to a certain destination, except GPS doesn't know your current location. It doesn't know how to map you there. So one of the biggest things that I do is understanding where my clients are currently, not what they think they want it to be, not cherry picking numbers and trying to make it look better than it is. They need to actually show the real data because that is where we see the holes in their business. And that is where we can leverage our optics or leverage what we know. So if you can see here in the yellow, this is what my clients fill in with the current data that they have. So let's say they get 100 leads per month. This could be what you got last month and you need to see what you want to do this month. It could be an average over the last few months. Oftentimes they have no idea what their leads are. And so typically we take an average because it's easier to find an average versus how many leads they got in this last month. So the first number they fill in is how many leads they got. So I put in 100 right here. Now, typically when you get a lead, not all of them are going to turn into meaningful conversations. Not all of them are going to become clients. This is the very top of the funnel, and then they trickle down from there to become clients. And so we're going to optimize every point in this process in order to double your business. And I will show you exactly how to do that using this spreadsheet. So let's say 20% of them turn into meaningful conversations, and 15 of those book appointments. So sometimes maybe those conversations didn't actually turn out. Maybe they're not quite the right client. Maybe they're not ready for the work to be done in their house quite yet, and so on and so forth. Now, of those appointments booked, let's say 7 of them get an estimate written. And then from those 7, 5 of those 7 actually turn into new clients. So we started out with 100 leads and we worked our way down to getting 5 clients that are going to pay us for the work we are going to do at their house. Now, obviously, if you're in commercial construction, these numbers are going to be a little bit different for you just because your jobs are bigger and they last longer. This is typical for one of my kitchen and bath remodel clients. So that's what I'm going off of for this video. So you get 5 clients at the end of the day and a few percent of them to have change orders. And so you bump up the price a little bit. Now, like I said, this is for a kitchen and bath remodeling. So when you're doing a full gut remodel of somebody's kitchen, then you're probably looking at about $36,000 per client, depending on your client base, depending on how big their kitchens are and what type of custom work you do. So this is an average. If you have 100 leads and you turn that into 5 clients and each client is giving you $36,000, you're averaging around $184,000 per month, and that will total to about $2.2 million a year. Now, this is what the current numbers are. Obviously, this would be different for your business. Let's say that we could make some tweaks to your messaging, or we could do a couple of things and really hone in on the type of clients that we get. And so we could actually bump this up to 20%. Now, I'm not saying double your leads. I'm just saying bumping them up just a touch so that way we're getting a few more leads. This could be spending a little bit more money, but a lot of times it's really just seeing where are we getting our best leads and bumping that up and letting go of some of these other lead sources that are not working so well. So if we bump up our leads to 120 leads, we now can grow our business based off of these numbers. So a few more people we'll have meaningful full conversations with, a few more appointments will be booked, a few more estimates will be written, and so on and so forth till we get a little bit of growth. And that's only based on 20%. So now let's say that we actually bump up our meaningful conversations by just 3%. So we're talking to a few more people. Now, conversations equal cash. The more conversations you can have, the more cash will flow. And let's say from those conversations, you book just 7% more appointments. So you're getting in front of just 7% more people. Now, again, we're not doubling every step along the way. We're just making some minor tweaks that can really hone in on who you're in front of and the appointments that you book. Now, let's say from those appointments booked that you actually write more estimates. So let's say you write 10% more estimates. Now, I get that writing estimates can be a time-consuming process, but there are some ways to really cut down on that process and streamline it so that way it doesn't take as much time. But we're only doing 10% more estimates, which is not a huge number. Now, from that, if we just close those estimates and turn just a couple more into clients, and we do just 3% of those estimates that we wrote, we just bump that up by 3% and we close a few more clients, we're not closing 3% more clients from these numbers. We're closing 3% more clients from these numbers because they have a compound effect. They're starting with getting a 20% growth in leads and just adding a couple tweaks along the way to actually double our clients. Now, here is where you can really make a big difference. And let's say you actually offer and let your clients know about different services that you have, and you bump up those extra costs or those additional charges to a client by just a few percent. So let's just bump this up by 5%. Now we're getting $20,000 extra based off of those 10 clients that we're having versus the 5 clients we're having. Now, if we increase our price just by a tiny little bit, we can see that we over doubled our business by just a few tweaks. If you notice here, none of these are crazy numbers. Now, a lot of times people are like, okay, I get it. You've pushed a bunch of numbers into the spreadsheet and it looks all nice on paper, but how do you actually make that happen in your business? And here's the thing. If you don't have a sales team, there's one way to do it. And if you do have a sales team, there's another way to do it. So the first way I'm going to talk about is if you do have a sales team. And if you do have a sales team, you're going to want to analyze each person's number and see who's doing the most in each of these areas. You're not going to bump these up by arbitrary numbers. You're going to bump these up based off the best performer in your team. So let's say that the most effective salesperson on your team is taking those leads and converting them to conversations at a higher rate. You want to take that and average it out over the other ones and then put that number in here. Or you can see, okay, what are they doing to create more meaningful conversations? And how do we leverage that system in order for everybody to be on the same page and for everybody to get that same percentage? So these numbers could change slightly depending on the superstars that are in your sales team. Now, let's say you don't have a sales team and it's you doing all of the work. This is where you still need to document what are your numbers and how can you repeat those numbers again and again. Now, here's the thing. Most of the time, people want to just try everything all at once, and they don't actually know what works. So if you are a salesperson of one, maybe you're the owner still doing the sales in the day-to-day operations, and you're not sure how to change any of these numbers, start with the top one. How do you get 20% more leads? Look at all your lead sources. What lead sources are producing really high quality leads and what lead sources are not producing high quality leads? And then go from there. Make minor adjustments, make minor tweaks. See if you can get this number to bump up by 20%. Because if I delete all of this and the only thing you do is bump up your leads by 20%, you're still growing your business. So that is the first thing that you want to do if you are a solo salesperson in your business, or if you are the owner doing the sales, which typically is what I see. And then move on to the next number and see, okay, can I turn these leads into more meaningful conversations? Do I need more follow-up? Do I need to text versus call versus email? What do I need to do to actually change that number? And then once you've bumped that up a little bit, document what you do, because you're going to be transferring and delegating this process to somebody else very soon, because your business is growing down here and you will actually be able to afford a salesperson because they're going to make you money. In fact, the more salespeople you get, the more money you are going to make. And so you want to make sure that you're documenting your process along the way. So that is how you would approach doubling your business if it was just one person. If you're a contractor with a 7-figure construction business and you're ready to turn this revenue into more profit and get out of the day-to-day operations, then click the video buttons to watch a short video on how to do that.